So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a few exercises using type in Illustrator. So the first thing we're going to do is this one, type, that we're going to just do some type. We're going to create a fun logo using our first name. I like to make some things that have personality so you can tell what more to the story. I just want to add to the story. Well, one of the eras that I liked the very most when I was growing up was the 80s. I really identify with the big hair and the big puffy shoulders and all that kind of stuff. So my creation is going to be reminiscent of the 80s. So I'm going to use my first name so that it looks like I really own this. So I am going to go to an image that I picked. I'm not going to copy it, but I am going to be influenced by it. So we can go up to File and Place. The What place means is that it is putting it in there as something that is linked. It is not giving me the choice of embedding it at this place. I'll show you how to embed in just a second. So there's also a key command. It's Shift, Command, and P. So I am going to opt to use that key command. So I'm doing that, and it goes to, and you're not going to be able to see this. It's going to where I have stored my image. And so it gave me the option to place it. So I'm going to just place it. I'm going to click and drag and just let it come in, because if I had just let it go, it could have been really super big. Probably wasn't, but so let's see. There are some neon looking things in there. There's some reflective kind of things. I am going to write my name first of all. So, text. When you first make a text box in Illustrator, and that's what happens. Let me do that again slower. I have picked the text tool, which is this right here, this little T. So if you click and hold it, you're going to see that you have a whole lot of different tools in here. So what I'm going to use first is this tool. I only use two tools on this because all of the others don't seem to make any sense to me. I use the type tool, the type on a path tool. I would never have vertical type. That means that each letter, instead of going from left to right, it's going to go from top to bottom. So you've got all of these stacked letters that are making words. And you can do that in an area, and then vertical type on a path tool, so that instead of it following that doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm just not going to do it. So I'm going to select this top one, type tool, and you get this little kind of a cursor. So as soon as you click and drag, you get a text box that's filled with Greek. Let's just take a look at this. If you remember back to our typography theories class, you can see that all of this stuff is reminiscent of that. Just a lot of nonsense words. Sometimes there are words that kind of pop up in here, but generally you find very few that are real words. It's weird. That's okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to double click and get my cursor active in the middle of that text. Let me get a little closer and get over here. You see this thing that is pulsing right there. That is where my active text, if I were to start typing, it would fill in right there. So there is a key command, Command A, and it picks everything. So I am just going to start writing, and I'm going to do it in all caps because I want to, well, I'll just do it normal, and then I'll show you how you can change it. Okay, so I've written my name. And if you go here, okay, it's going to not show everything I want here. So I'm going to go up to my control bar and pull this down. And now I've got a fly out window. This tells me everything that you could possibly know about a text, about type. This has the style and the family and the style, sorry, it has the size of it, which is in points. To make this larger, all you have to do is have the word or the text selected, click on the arrow, and you can automatically go up to 72, which is pretty good size. But you can also just choose this and make it go really big. And this is probably gonna, yeah, that's not whenever your word is bigger than the box, what happens is you get this little red square down here with a plus. So all I have to do is just open this box up a little bit more, and I've got the whole name. I'm going to open it up a little bit more so that I'll have some room to grow whenever I start choosing different typefaces. Okay, so I'm going to select this again. I double click or triple click. Let me try that again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2 picks one word. So 2 clicks picks one word, 3 clicks picks a whole sentence. So just so you'll know. So I've got this really big, and that's fine because I'm going to be making a logo, and that needs to be the dominant thing is the word that you want to emphasize. I want to make this all caps. So this little symbol right here, and we'll learn more about all of the text and everything, the symbols and things in InDesign, because that's where we're going to be text heavy. But this double cap means that um, it will turn it to large cap. So this double cap means that this double cap, the two, the double T here will make everything have all caps. Okay, so now that's all caps. So here is our letting. If we had two words together, two lines, we would have, that would be the space in between the lines. This is how it looks vertically. Right now it's auto. It's just doing the kerning on its own. I want to make it optical because I want it to look visually correct. Now this is how we can make things kern close, or we can get things to kern really big. And you can also go in and choose your own kerning here. Like if you want to do just a tiny bit and these numbers don't fit that. Okay. These two you should never ever use because it's changing the way that the designer did the typeface, the type family. You're making it suddenly too tall, or you're suddenly making it too short. Or on this side, let me make this 100 again. On this side, you're making it too squished and then too extended. There are typefaces that are narrow. They're designed as narrow, and there's the typefaces that are designed as really expanded. Don't use these particular tools. I just, they have no place. They make you look really amateurish if you use them. So I do not use them as a professional designer. This one moves your X height. So see, I can move it up or move it down. I can just it helps whenever you're doing typography setting, and I don't use it very much because you should be able to regulate that with your letting. Okay, these other little things, we've got it on all caps. Now you can make it a small cap. So the first one is a big cap and the others are small caps. I don't like that very much. You can make it be superscript, which is like if you're doing math and it's everything is really tall, or if you're having a notation of some sort. Or you can go with this one that's on the bottom. I can't, the name of it evades me right now. Or you can put an underline, which I've told you in the past, do not put underlines this way. If you want an underline, there are better ways to do it. If you want to emphasize something, there's like a gazillion ways to emphasize something without using an underline. And that's only if you're doing some editing so you can cross stuff out. I don't suggest either one of those unless you're not going to use it in a design. Okay, that's all we're going to go over here. I'm going to find another typeface. I'm going to move this around. I'm going to pick my selection tool. I'm going to move this over so that when I have my type box open, I can see more of my work here. So all you have to do is click here and it should show you a whole bunch of different typefaces. And so there's all sorts of faces. Don't ever use a script or a handwritten font, all caps. It does not look correct. It's hard to read. Just don't do it. So I am going to start scrolling, and I'm not going to actually choose anything just yet. I want something that's going to look like the 80s. And so you just have to kind of put your time machine cap on and figure out which one is going to work best. You can find fonts everywhere. There are fonts for free. There are fonts that you can pay for. There are fonts that will mess up your computer. So if you have started having trouble with your computer whenever you've downloaded a free font, you need to go and erase that font. All right. That's got a nice look to it. Let's look at this one right here. No, I think it's this one. So I'm going to use Media Sans Dusk Black. Now, black does not refer to the color. Whenever we're talking about um, the style of the font, black means that it's really, really thick. That's that's it. You can change the color. It doesn't have to be black. And so all of this is set the way I want it. So I'm going to use this font and I am going to make that smaller. Okay. So I am going to do I'm going to show you something that I do all the time when I'm designing a logo. I'm going to make a copy of this and I'm going to move it to the side. So I still have an editable copy. So I can go in there and I can change it to um, upper and lowercase. I can change the style of the font. I can change everything I want to change with it. So now I have a copy. I am going to do something that's called outlining text. What that does is it takes it from an editable text that you can select the individual letters and you can change the individual letters. Like, for instance, I'm going to make that just a lowercase. I kind of like that. All right, so now I've changed it. But here, after I do this, you're not going to be able to change anymore. So I'm going to select my text. You can go up to type, find create outlines, and click there, or you can do the key command, which is Shift Command zero, not zero, I'm sorry, Shift Command O. And did you see that switch there? Let me undo that. Shift Command O. And now all of a sudden, now you can bring this back over for comparison. When nothing is selected, it pretty much looks the same. And I just want to point out that this is a hidden character. Let me turn that off. I like to have those on most of the time so I can see what's causing the text to do things. So here is the editable text. I can go in and select, I can double click and select the whole thing. If I double click here, it opens a new text box. So this one, I'm going to choose my direct selection tool. When I use direct selection tool with this, all I can do is make the corners rounded. When I choose this with direct selection, you can see that each individual letter suddenly is a shape. It's no longer an editable text. So that is why I keep one that's editable over here so that in case I goof up or I change my mind or something like that, that I can always go back. So I am going to choose to move this down. Right now it's a group. I can select it with my selection tool. If I select it, the whole thing is together. If you want to make changes, you can ungroup it, object ungroup, or you can have it selected and say Shift Command G and it ungroups it. So now with my selection tool, I am selecting just one thing at a time. I'm going to group those back. Command G. All right. So what am I going to do? I like this, and I'm going to get closer to it. But I think I'm going to do something a little bit different. That's just a suggestion there. So I'm going to make myself a couple of triangles. Cancel. Cancel that. I did that wrong. I am going to choose my polygon tool and I'm going to make it pretty good size, but I am going to make fewer sides. I'm going to make myself a triangle. I'm not going to take the time to do all of this fancy stuff right here. Well, you know what? I think I will. We've got time, right? Am I right? I'm going to show you how to use the gradient tool. So right now I have an outline. I've switched my colors so that there's just an outline. So I am going to take my gradient tool, which is right here. I'm going to double click it. So I'm going to bring this up so we can all see it. Sometimes things happen. So I've got a 90-degree angle on this so that I've got one color fading into the other. And it's at 90. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go back up to Window and open something called Swatches. This has a lot of different colors that I can choose from. So I am going to choose this green, I mean blue, wow, blue, and pull it over here. And then I'm going to choose this electric pink, just like the letters over there have, and I'm going to pull on that one and just take it completely off my palette. I'm going to take this white and I'm going to make it really tiny in between. You can see where I'm going with this. I'm going to pull this so that it's really close, and that just basically takes the feathering away. Okay, but mine is exactly opposite of that. This little tool switches the gradient. You can click on that and all of a sudden you've got the exact same. It looks like to me that they have a little red down there. I've just got to try putting it on there. Okay. So now we've got our 80s and I'm sorry, I just can't leave things alone. All right, so now I've got something that looks fairly similar. I'm just going to leave this over here. Okay, so I am done with this one, so I'm going to also just leave this one down here. So now I've got my name, and I'm going to make the stroke bigger. I'm going to make it obvious, like I really want the stroke there. That's too big. Okay, close enough. So now I've got that. So I'm going to make my triangles go behind my name. Make it bigger. So the way that you make things, objects be in the front or in the back, you can do that with layers. But since I'm working on one layer on this particular lab, I'm going to go up to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. All right. So you see that that's a pretty quick way to do it. Now, if I want to move them around, there are key commands. So you can look under Object. I don't have anything chosen. Look under Object, Arrange, and then you've got key commands that you can do over here. And it has to do with the bracket keys. Okay, so you can do that quicker. Now I'm going to make these different colors. I'm going to make this one. I'm just going to pick some colors here. I'm not going to get too crazy with it. And now I've chosen, instead of choosing the color that I wanted for the fill, I put it on the stroke instead. So I can just flip it and come and put no color there. And now I'm going to, hmm, that isn't really the color I want. So I'm going to click that, and now it's given me the entire palette. I'm going to make that a little bit darker. Not really in the spirit of the colors. I'm going to make it blue, and I'm going to have another one. See, if I click Option and drag that, I'm getting another color all of a sudden. I'm going to change that one to a gray so that it looks like it's got a little bit of a shadow on it and it's offset. I am truly not liking my colors here. I'm going to make this one more electric. You can just go back and forth with all the colors as much as you want. And now I'm going to put a big ellipse behind this. And I'm going to tell this to go to the back, Shift, Command, bracket. I don't want it to be this color because that looks really strange back there. So I'm going to change this to black. So you can see I'm getting the flavor of what is going on in my selection, but not really copying it. So I am going to do a couple more things. I'm going to go and get my rectangle tool, and I'm going to put some bright colored bars here. Make it a little longer. Oops, I don't want it to go that way. I'm going to get closer. Command plus, plus, plus. So if I get close enough, there's actually a pull tab here that I can make that longer. And that was too long. Better. So I can make a few more here. I can use my properties. I can use my align tool in order to get that exactly spaced. All right. I think I am going to try something here. I want to show you how to use the stopper tool, the dropper tool. I said the wrong word. Dropper tool. Okay, so I've got those chosen. I've selected my eyedropper. I'm going to hover over what I want to copy. So I'm going to click here, and now I've copied that. Don't really like that. I think I'm going to put it back to the yellow, but there you go. That is how we can use type and some personality to make a statement. I'm not saying that's good. I'm just saying that that's what you can do. So let's move on. Okay, this is type on a path. So what I want you to do is to go to your your shape and I want to get an ellipse, you can either use an ellipse like this, or you can make it a complete circle. I'm going to choose to do a complete circle. So it doesn't really matter what color you have chosen at this particular moment, but I am going to just make a nice little circle. I'm going to flip it so that I just have the path highlighted, not the inside of it, which even that doesn't matter. Make it darker so we can see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is just for us to be able to see where it is right now, because this is not going to be part of our design. We will have the circle shape, but not the circle's stroke color. Now we need to pick our type tool again. So hold a click, come over to the area here and go to type on a path tool. So now you've got a type tool that has this little ziggy line behind it, a little dotted line. So the best way to start this is to bring your cursor down here and click at the very center bottom of it. And now you've got it went back to your original typeface. So it puts it in there. And right now we have got um, the paragraph style of flush left. I am going to put a centered. So now you see why I went to the bottom, because when I go to the bottom, that's where everything starts. This is where your line starts. So it made it flush left to begin with. When you center it, it automatically makes it even on your circle. Because if you had something that was off centered, it would probably be something you'd be trying to struggle to get to be centered. I'm going to select all of that. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make that a lot smaller because that is just entirely too big for this purpose. I'm going to start off with the 72. Um, I want you to write your name, and I'm going to write my entire name. And then I'm going to select all that type. And when I'm selecting really quickly like that without double clicking, I have the line selected and I use the Command A and it selects everything that I have selected. Okay, I don't like the spacing here. That looks better because that is not what, I don't think that's the spacing. Oh, I did have an extra space there. Yeah, I'm going to move that in a closer. I think I am also, I think I'm also going to choose all of this to be uppercase. Now, I don't like this font for this particular deal. I am going to use a font that I think is a very nice font. It does the job. It's readable, but it's not predictable. So I'm going to use Futura. Now, when you have this drop-down box for your typefaces, if you click one of these little triangles, you have all the different styles. And I'm going to use Demi. Demi is not, it's not book, and so it's not regular and it's not bold. It's just somewhere in between. I'm going to make this a great deal smaller. Okay. All right, so there I've got my text. Now, what if you want to have some text going the other direction? Because if you were to use this particular style, if you move this so that the text is on the bottom, it's going to be just all the way around. I'm going to undo that. So what we have to do is come over with our circle again, get right in the center. That's why I'm telling you to do Shift Option, because it just is so helpful. So that is not helpful. I'm going to switch that. And now I'm going to get my selection tool and continue on. I am going to make my new circle the same size as the top of my first type on a path. Okay, so you can see that it's exactly on top of that. So now I'm going to get my type on a tool again. Gonna come down to the very bottom and click. And I did not have, you see what kind of tool I have chosen? I have the regular type. So it just filled it into the void. That is not what we want. Pick the type on a tool, a type on a path tool. I'll get it right in a second. And click right there. And now you've got words going on the outside. I'm going to type in something that I want to have on my logo. So I'm going to, okay, so I have the next one that I want. And you notice that it's right on top of it. So I'm going to pick my selection tool. And notice there's something going on there, and it's hard to see. Let me get closer to see if you can see it better. You see, I have my Alumni Association layer picked, and there's this thing that's sticking way up. If I hover over that, it's got a little arrow with a line. Let me get back out so you can see what I'm doing. So that's the image that we're looking for. So I'm going to click on that, hold my click, pull my new text into, whoops, and you can pull it back and forth. And if you happen to do something like this and it is not centered, you can always rotate it and make it centered. Well, that is too big. We can always go in here and change it. This then is going to be too big. All right, now you've got your words. You see logos like this all the time. Well, that's how they're doing it. I'm just going to put a few things in here. I'm going to, as a matter of fact, I'm going to do my little type that's outlined. I'm going to option drag down, and if you encounter like the end of something on your computer screen, it will not let you copy to somewhere you can't see on your screen. Okay, so now I'm going to select this, go to type, create outlines, and now I've got just the outlines. It's the circles that we created it with are gone. So what I'm going to do is first of all, I'm just going to decide where I want to have some circles because I feel like that's kind of words just like that just don't have any meaning until they have some context. So I'm just going to make this bigger. I am going to tell it to arrange again. I'm going to send it to the back. Send it to the back. Okay, I'm going to make this a different color so we can see what I'm doing. So right now it's black on black. I'm going to make this kind of a gold color. Okay, so now you can see what I've got. If I select this and group them, and see you've got a group selection right here. I'm going to group it right there. I'm going to select all of this, and I'm going to use my align tool to get it centered both directions. Okay. So now I'm going to put another circle in here. You can use solids, you can use circles. I'm going to make another circle. I'm going to try and get it pretty close to that width. And I am going to put a different color in there. I'm going to choose a purple. That happens to be our school colors. I am working on an alumni reunion and it is eating my lunch. Okay, so now we've got this craziness going on. And why is that? Well, it's because I chose the wrong thing. I need to choose this and the purple and get them situated. And then I'm going to group them. And now when I group them, they go to the very front. So I'm going to have to put them to the back again. So I did. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to use my dropper to make all this the same color. Okay, I'm going to put a really big M in the middle. Just a capital M. And I'm going to make it gold. So now I have the correct gold and I have my big M. And I'm just going to leave it in this font because there is no font that I know of that we have to, in this particular case, you would want to match whatever the standard brand font is. Okay, so now we've got a logo. Gonna make it all centered. Okay, there you go. Pretty quick. I don't know why this is going to the bottom so much. I'm going to make that visually centered. Okay, there you go. All right, the rest of this is to recreate the logos. Now, I know some of these are going to be hard. On these, I want you just to use text. So I am going to open up a text box and I'm going to do a C. Okay, I'm going to make it bigger so you can see. Let's make it really big. Now, here's how you see if you have the right typeface. They're pretty similar, but look at how these ends are and how these ends are. If you're wanting to make a Chanel logo, this is not your C. So let's select the C, go to our character box and start looking at the C's. To make it easier, you can filter it. We know that that's a sans serif. So let's only look at the sans serif and the heavy ones. Okay, now we can start looking in earnest to see which one is similar. Close but no cigar. That one is pretty darn close. It's close enough for this particular project. So here's how I would do this. I would make my C. I would outline it. I would even change the color for right now, just so I can see what's my letter and I made it a little too thick, but that's okay. Not totally close, but see, I just want you to try. So make the C the same size as that. And then I showed you this briefly. I'm going to show it to you again. Here is something called Rotate tool. If you look underneath it, there is a Reflect tool. So I am going to reflect that one C so I don't have to copy it. I don't have to flip it around. So I hit the reflect tool and I double click the box and it brings this up. So right now it's doing a vertical reflect and you can see that that's what has happened. I want my original C, so I'm going to hit copy so it'll make a copy of it. And now all I have to do is whoops, wrong C. All I have to do is pull the other C over here, make sure that they're good and centered. And now you can even go the next step and hit Pathfinder. And now you've got one solid logo. Pardon me. Now with Google, you'll have to find the whole family that's pretty similar to that. So let's just write the words Google. And now I am going to change something here on my characters because I've got it set for all caps. I'm going to take that off. The only difference between the font that we have chosen here and this font, the big thing, well, there's some tops that are different and stuff. The GOO is right on, and the L, of course, but the G's got a little different style here, and the E has a different style here. So let's just look and see what we can find that's more similar. I am going to go to some of the ones that I just automatically think it's probably very similar to. Of course, it's Futura is one of them. Not close enough. Maybe I've got too thick here. Let's go to Demi. Still too thick. Let's go to medium. I think that's about right. But we still have that E that's different. And it could this is exactly the same font. Probably what happened was a graphic designer decided to just slightly change the E. So I'm going to go with that one for right now. Now you can play with it and try, and what I would do is I would outline that. You could play with it and see if you could get the E to rotate like that, rebuild it or something, but I will accept just using that. Now on this one, I am not going to do it for you. I'm going to let you pick one of the logos and recreate it by using the different shapes like the boxes and the circles and that sort of thing. So that one is on your own. I want to see how well you can do. All right, well, that is the whole lesson. Look for the instructions on Canvas. What I want you to do is I want you to do all the exercises, and then I want you to save this as a point AI, a dot AI. And let me just show you what I mean. Okay, so I'm going to save. It needs to be an AI file. An AI file is the native file to Illustrator, and unless specified, I don't ever change anything from an AI that I've been working on in Illustrator. It's super versatile. It's kind of like the building block of Illustrator. So save it as an AI and load that up to Canvas. All right. Next, we're going to work on some more things in Illustrator, some of the things that I like a lot. So I will see you in the next one.